Alright you guys, so back on some SLA, gotta do my tier list update. Things have shifted, things have changed, but would you look who we have here? The character that is about to be the forefront of defense penetration, since that is low-key the current meta that we're all catering to right now. Well, the fire element is catering to, so that's kind of what is going on with everything. But anywho, with where the game is at right now, with the release of Esil, with the release of the new fire weapon, so far so good in terms of with where the fire element is at as a whole currently, with where it's been set up from, and with the little bit of information that we know of this character working with defense pen and having that scaling off from crit. No pun intended, but we're about to get some more firepower. Now, as I've mentioned, when it comes to SLA and with the fire element getting a little bit of a touch up, and respectfully, we're all kind of utilizing the fire element more for the new workshop of Brilliant Light. When it comes to the current content that is releasing right now, it is more catered to the whatever meta that developers are choosing to buff up on, and in this case and in this situation it is defense penetration, of course. So when it comes to Esil, I mean, she is a crucial character. I mean, well, first character of 2025, but she is a very crucial character in terms of supporting the current meta that's getting buffed. You guys know the deal. Whenever units drop, there's always a meta that developers choose to touch up on, and that effectively gives us the advantage play for whatever content that's going on right now. I.e., there's a lot of discussions about the workshop of Brilliant Light being like, damn, we have to now cater to defense penetration. I've seen a few people mention that and whatnot. Now that is the case. That is the case, because obviously that's one of the weaknesses towards the boss, and to those that want the upper hand on the hard version of workshop Brilliant Light, because I know a lot of people are upgrading the power level, i.e. like myself, preparing for whatever is going to be in store for the harder version. Fire element are going to be getting that huge advantage, hence why at the very beginning I was like, there's kind of her who's going to be the forefront of the defense penetration meta, of course, and when she drops, she is most likely going to be a very huge and a key component to tackling the hard mode and making it more easier, right? Because that's the goal we're trying to accomplish at the end of the day. So with Esil, she is a key piece for the V2 version of the fire element team, right? Right now with Esil and Gina, that is a formidable combination to really get the buffs going for your main DPS character, in this case being Suyun, of course, to really get that huge sum of damage in. So far it is working like an absolute charm, and it only leaves room and speculations of, damn, okay, if Suyun is accomplishing this between these two girls, what is kind of going to be dealing out, right? So that's the plus side. Now again, I mean, at the very beginning there was comparisons made between her and Emma, like, I don't need her for Emma, which, I mean, yeah, you can still rock with Emma, do your thing. But with Esil, I think there's just a lot more on the table through the defense pen of increased 12% across the board, with the 9% fire damage increase across the board. There's the 24% of the workshop Brilliant Light increase that she gets, so that's a bit of a cheeky buff, I will say. That's a bit of a cheeky buff. And then when it comes to the breakage side of things, I know a lot of people look down on her, being like, oh, medium light break, trash. The keywords are within her kit, her passive, to where she gets like an 80% break effectiveness through one of her buffs, if I can remember correctly, like the enhanced blaster, of course. On top of that, her core actually does medium break too, so that's pretty consistent. So there's things already in line to actually make her extremely good and on par with what Emma's doing. In terms of like timage of breakage, I think Esil may be like a second over in terms of breakage compared to Emma. So that across the board is kind of like fair between the two girls. It's just the buffs, the debuffs that Esil can provide for the team. That's kind of where it truly matters. With, on top of that, I always forget, she can always apply the Prey on the Weak, so that's an increase of fire damage that we can stack up to like, what, 50 times? So that way, again, the end result is we're doing way more damage, and applying that with Gina's buff, of course, again, the end result for the main fire DPS character is always going to be, well, at this current moment of time, a good sum of damage, right? And obviously, defense pen being catered to with the amount of increase of damage that we can do through the fire element team, and whilst buffing our defense pen. Again, the end results for fire element right now is looking very disgusting with the damage outcome that we can now provide. So that's why I say Esil right now is becoming a key component for the setup that will be Kanhe that we're releasing in about 2.5 weeks time. So with all that being said, when it comes to the tier list, I am going to be putting her in high SS. Joy I'm actually going to put up to high S plus. I was going to put him at SS, but I do use him as a debuffer, so we'll keep him there. So that's kind of where I'm regarding Esil right now, and I'm just going to say this right now. I think Kanhe, when she releases, she's going to be SS plus. No doubt in my mind. I reckon she will be an SS plus. So yeah, no, this is a perfect lineup and setup to where the fire element is heading towards, and I cannot wait. I'm more eager to get my hands on it ASAP. So the quicker the days go, the sooner we get the newest fire DPS. So that's kind of where I'm classing that. The fire weapon now. So we've got the fire fan weapon, and I'm a fan of it. I've said it from the very beginning. I do love the weapon. There's a lot that it covers. There's a lot that's going on for this weapon in terms of, you know, it's got the damage, it's got the AoE coverage, it's got the supportive play, it's got that infinite buff, that demon buff, which is disgusting. It's got the breakage play. Like, this fan is just kind of reminds me of Emma. Just an all-round fantastic weapon to have, and obviously it is something that the fire element really needed to get that fire combination complete package going. It seems that as of right now, the developers are sweeping the fire element as a whole, getting it out of the way, and then moving on to whatever element is next, of course. In this case, as I've spoken about before, could very well be the wind typing, of course. But yeah, there's nothing really more to say when it comes to this fan itself, other than it's a fantastic weapon. If you do pull it, congratulations. You know, you've got yourself a good little setup weapon for your fire element combination, of course. But it provides heavy break. Again, it's good. To me personally, it's got a fair amount of good damage. So that's also fairly solid. It works off from doing the core, and then obviously once you do, I think, 6 amount of core hits, that then gives you the infinite buff of the fire demon, and then that then gives you the increase of your critical hit rate of 30%, critical hit damage of 120, and again, it's more for the core skill, not just in general. It's more dived in for the core, hence why I say with Phoenix Sorbo, it's just a pair on pair, right? And then another thing which I don't really talk about, but the regeneration of the MP recovery rate for this weapon, it's pretty disgusting. So like, there's a lot to really take in on what this weapon really provides, and at the end of the day, it is one hell of a weapon. I am a fan. I love it. I love what the fire element has come to. Going forward though, I will say it will kind of push the fire element weapons down that rabbit hole of being like, right, we gotta make it a core weapon, because the minute we get a fire weapon that doesn't work off from core, it's gonna be a bit awkward, because the buffs that we get from utilizing the fan is more catered to the core. So that's the only outside thing that I'm looking at to be like, we might be in a bit of a pickle. But then that'll then give them a reason to be like, alright, we'll drop another fire support weapon. So there's that. But as of right now, with where the fire element is at and with how it's being used, yeah, no, it is one hell of a weapon. I am a fan. Also gives you a bit of super armor, how can I forget about that? So that's also fairly clutch of its own. But overall, yeah, this is a fantastic, fantastic fire weapon. There's not really much to say other than if you do manage to get your hands on it. So yeah, when it comes to the fire fan, I think what I am going to do, boys, is I'm actually going to put it... Okay, so I'm going to put it with the Phoenix Sorbo. It's SS tier, most definitely. I'm actually going to bump the quarterstaff up to SS+. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just going to say that this weapon lately has been disgusting. Like, really disgusting. With its damage output and just everything. I've got it to +10. I should clarify, I do have it at +10, and I'm sorry, this is definitely going to SS+. I'm sorry, I'm in love with this weapon, so I'm just going to leave it as that. I will be using this weapon on the Workshop Burn Light on hard mode. This is my strat. I'm literally going in with the light element. It's gonna, yeah. So that's me all round, boys. That's me all round. Yeah, I'll end off by saying this. Look, is Esil worth the summon? 100%. Yeah, she is a very key character for the V2 team with the fire element, with where we're heading towards. Again, her and Gina combination for the fire element team will buff up any fire element. I mean, technically speaking, yeah, her and Gina and Choi, that works. Her and Gina and soon, that'll work. So yeah, and if Kane is releasing, she's going to be more updated, so she's going to be absolutely cracked and insane. And it's a given, because everything that we're getting right now is going to be leading towards in support of the hard version of Workshop Brilliant Light. So if you wanted my honest opinion, I said at the very beginning, you know, yeah, I mean, she is a key character. I mean, again, if you're not bothered about the current content, you want to be slow and steady about it, then by all means utilize the custom draw banner, but you'll have a more of an easier time tackling the newer content. I mean, you can still probably utilize the light team, don't get me wrong, but yeah, the developers are throwing in a few things for the fire element to give them that, you know, that more of an easier time for you to tackle the content. It's a given, especially with the Workshop Brilliant Light 24% that she gets. So God knows what Kane is going to be getting, what extra buff that she'll be getting, because she's going to get something, you know that for a fact. But that's kind of where I'm at right now, and that's where I would class these weapons and or the weapon and Esil on the tier list.